up your engine! People are always asking me about full-size SUVs. Well, here's one I'm going to analyze. It's a 2003 Honda Pilot, Honda's biggest SUV. I'm going to show you the truth about this. Now, superficially, you can see the chrome over here. That chrome fell off. It is here on the back, but on the other side, you can see that chrome fell off. Basically, that's just plastic crap anyways. It's not metal. You can hear it. Now, in this case, the owner isn't bothering to put it on. For one big reason, because he doesn't care. His brother gave him this vehicle when it had 80,000 miles. Now it's got 100-something on it. So he got the best deal on earth. But this Honda Pilot is not like the Trojan horse. It's not a free gift that you wish you'd never let into your castle. This thing's in immaculate shape. As we look inside, the leather seats are still in pretty good shape. It's got everything on it. Cruise control. Sunroof. All-wheel drive, you can turn on or off and even lock. Even a little bit of chrome that hasn't fallen off. And as we go into the back, a lot of room in these babies. He's got the seats down now because he wanted all this space. But the seats are quite comfortable. Big 3-row seats. And check it out. This isn't economy. This is a luxury vehicle. It's got the air conditioning, the heat, the cigarette lighter power outlet. Okay, the hood liner looks a little bit like a tent. But like I say, he doesn't care. And listen to the door when I shut it. That is a solid vehicle. And it's old school, so you gotta actually physically pull the handle. Look at all that room. This baby's got room for hauling stuff. There's no arguing that. This baby's a real people carrier. And as you can see down here, you can tow. And Honda had a pretty good idea who's buying these things. The towing rating is 3,500 pounds for a conventional trailer you're towing, but 4,500 pounds if you're towing a boat. You know, quite a few people buying some nice big vehicle like this are going to have a reasonable sized boat they want to tow. This thing can tow it fine because under the hood is an ultra reliable 3.5 liter variable valve timing Honda engine. It's 18 years old. It's got over 100,000 miles on it. It still doesn't burn a drop of oil. Honda knew how to make engines back in the day for sure. This baby doesn't have any of that modern gasoline direct injection turbocharger. It's a naturally aspirated engine that can last and last. This one's barely broken in. And then you might ask, what about the transmission? This has a 6-speed automatic transmission that is notorious for not having any problem. It's got rear wheel drive and it's got all-wheel drive if you want it. You can push buttons to use it when you want and just use 2-wheel drive when you don't. Because this is a big, heavy vehicle. If you use it in just the 2-wheel drive mode, you're lucky to get about 17 in town, and the max you're ever going to get is 22 on the highway. That's why the all-wheel drive system that you can turn on and off is better. You would lose a couple miles per gallon if you had an all-wheel drive system that was on all the time from the extra friction and the extra energy it takes to drive it all. It's a big, heavy vehicle, yes, and it's reasonably quick, but it's a gas hog, like all giant 3-row vehicles are really. At least the ones that are going to last like this, and like the Toyota Sequoia, they're made to last. Listen to Scotty. Don't go out and buy one of those big ones. It's got a little bitty 4-cylinder engine with the turbo and GDI. Yeah, it can have 300-something horsepower, but it's not going to last over time pulling all that weight with a little bitty engine that has a turbo and GDI injection. This V6 puts out 240 horsepower. And yeah, it's no race car in a big vehicle like this, but it certainly gets down the road, especially once you're ready moving on a highway. You got to pass people. It's got plenty of passing power. I'll show you with a little ride. And like any Honda, you get in, turn the key, no surprises, starts right up. Because this baby's barely broken and it's got 105,000 miles on it. Idling, you can see we're at idle speed. You're gonna notice one thing. This is quiet and smooth. This is one quiet, smooth vehicle. You feel very comfortable and safe in a stable platform going down the road. And it is a Honda product, known for performance. For a big vehicle like this, it actually handles quite well. They've done a lot of tricks to the suspension on this thing to make it ride well. Now we got an open road. Let's see how it takes off. We got it in drive and we'll floor it. It moves the car back, shifts like a dream. You can hear it runs good. Look at it idle. You take off. The transmission shifts like a dream. It may be 18 years old, but it sure doesn't feel it. Man, did he get one heck of a deal getting it from his brother for nothing. Absolutely free. Look at you, step on it. It just goes. Honda technology at its finest. You can cruise down the road in this thing all day. Your back won't get sore. It's nice and comfy. You're high enough up in the air that you feel really secure. And then when you have to corner, it's not sloshing around like some of these. It's got nice, tight Honda suspension. And brakes. Here we go, an idiot. And you can feel a few bumps going down the road. This thing still has the original struts on it. They've never been changed. But when you're driving, it doesn't feel bad. The cornering is excellent. You don't feel like you're losing control. Works great at higher speeds. It is one solid built, large, 3-row SUV. It's a Honda, so the AC still blows, cold as can be. I'm sure the fan's a little loud. It could do with a new motor, but hey, freezing cold AC in a vehicle the guy got for nothing that can run forever, just like the chrome plastic pieces that fell off, he doesn't care, he's living with the noise. Now odds are you're not gonna get a vehicle like this for nothing like my customer did. It's 18 years old. Get one with a low price, in good shape as this one is, you're getting one heck of a deal. I've seen these things with 300,000 miles on them and they're still going pretty good. This baby's only got a little bit over 100,000 miles. He got it for nothing when it had 80,000 miles on it. And you know what he's put into it? Nothing except for oil changes. That's a Honda for you. So now you know the truth about a 2003 Honda Pilot. Yeah, some of this cheap plastic chrome junk might have fallen off, but the vehicle itself, it's ready for taking a trip to California or wherever you want to go with very little worry. You need something this big and you're not that worried about low gas mileage. Find a good one of these used, you're making out like a bandit. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Well, for you race fans, the Indy cars are going to add hybrid power in 2023 and expect to get 1,000 horsepower out of those little bitty cars. Well, it kind of shows that Indy cars are behind the time. It used to be that, that was the cutting edge, because the Formula One cars, they've been using hybrid energy systems since 2009. When the F1 cars had kinetic energy systems, they were reusing energy. They've been doing it for a long time. Back in the day, all the new technology for cars with Indianapolis 500, they were showing it up, but now it's kind of fading away. I mean, geez, it took until 2023 for them to go hybrid stuff when the Formula One cars started doing that in 2009, so they're not even cutting edge anymore compared to what they used to be. Honda and Chevrolet make a bunch of the engines, say that they're extending their contracts with them well into the end of the decade. That tells you that they're kind of worried about things ending. That they're talking about just the end of the decade. If you really look at race cars, it's a dying sport. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Years ago, I went to the Charlotte Raceway, and even back then, they were starting to take the seats down because they had too many seats they weren't selling, and it looked bad. Car racing is a thing of the past. My generation, even older generations, the young generations, they're not really interested in droves about racing anymore. The people are saying, oh, we're not getting our money, our advertisers, the advertisers are pulling out of it, and it's really kind of a dying sport. A few months ago, I went to this oval track here in Houston, and it was the last half-mile oval track that had concrete on it left, even operating in the state of Texas. It's a dying sport. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, I imagine the Indianapolis 500 will go on forever because that's the thing. Just like horse racing in the United States, it's dying too, but the Kentucky Derby's so big, it'll always be out there because it's such a big thing. It's a one-time fling. Everybody watches the Kentucky Derby. Same thing, except everybody doesn't watch the Indianapolis 500 because it's a long, boring race. Now, the Kentucky Derby, it only lasts, a minute and a half, whatever it lasts. So people will watch the whole race. But the Indianapolis 500, they're going around the circle, around. I went there once, and I didn't even watch the end of the race. I went back to the hotel. kind of interesting that they're going to hybrid in 2023, you know, and even the F1 cars did it in 2009. They started with their hybrid system. So let's face it, Americans really, they're not that into racing anymore, car racing. It's not something that when I was young people did because guys souped up their own cars. But today everything's computer controlled, regulated. You can't soup them up. You're breaking pollution laws. The young people, they want computer stuff in their cars. They don't care about souping it up. They don't do that kind of stuff. It goes all the way down the line. They don't follow racing. Racing's going to fall apart. Eventually, you know, people will say, gee, watching cars go around in a circle, maybe not such an exciting thing. Now, if you've ever driven a race car, it's exciting as can be. That's a thrill, you know, that's a big thrill. Kind of like soccer. The Europeans call their football, right? Played soccer in Canada, and man, it's an exciting game to play. But watching, whew, I might as well watch paint dry. Let's see. The game's over and it's still nothing to nothing. Let's go to a shootout. They had to go to shootouts because the games would never end. They'd go on for centuries because no one would ever score. And watching cars go around in a circle, it's kind of similar to that, really, if you've ever been to one of those things. But driving them, that's a whole other story. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.